Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. I am Dr. Melissa Oden. I am the host here on the Helping People Heal channel, and I am super excited to have everybody back today. I know I've been kind of cranking these out lately, but I've got some amazing guests that I've had, and I have another one today. I want to introduce you to Robbin Kelton. Robbin and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself here in just a moment, but Robbin and I met this last summer. Do you remember this hot summer we had, Rob? Like literally we were dragging in.
Yes, literally. Yes.
We were melting on the way in. But we met this last summer at a networking event that Tracy Poe hosted. So shout out to, again, Tracy's getting a lot of shouts out this week, isn't she?
Yes, we love you, Tracy.
We love you, Tracy. Anyway, she was hosting a networking event, and Robbin was one of the guest speakers there. And it's my understanding, if I recall correctly, Robbin, this was your first ever speaking engagement. Is that right?
Yes. Very first speaking engagement.
Okay, well, I want to get into all that. But yeah. First of all, Robbin, welcome. And thank you so much for jumping on with me today. Please tell my viewers a little bit about you and what you do. You've got a bunch of stuff going on.
I do. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Robbin Kelton, born and raised in the Dallas area. I do a little bit of everything. So my big baby is my podcast. I host a podcast called the Mamapreneur podcast, a little over 2.5 years old.
That is amazing.
It's an amazing platform to not only talk about entrepreneurship and to talk about the ebbs and flows of being an entrepreneur, being a mom. You don't necessarily have to be a mom to come onto the show, but it's spotlights female entrepreneurs and their businesses, giving them an avenue for more exposure. Lots of female-owned businesses out there, but not everybody has the exposure or the avenue to get more exposure. That's where I come in. And so that platform, my core values for it is networking, connection, and collaboration. I feel there's room for everyone to grow and advance, and that's why I do what I do. And me talking about my platform to Tracy Poe on a call, a quick Zoom call, she stopped me in the middle of my statement and said, I have an opportunity for you. And that's to come speak at the Oh Yes I Can Women's Conference. And I said, you won't meet me? Okay. Sure. And to talk about the importance of why we should come to networking events and collaborate. And I had the most amazing time, and I got to meet Dr. Melissa and all the ladies that I've connected with. And some of the ladies have been on the show. We've done things together outside. I'm here today with you. It has been a great ride. And that's what networking and coming together is all about, you know.
Absolutely.
What else do we do? I am a paparazzi consultant. I have been for almost 3 years. You see the pearls today. We had to rock the lovely pearls for you all today.
Yes, that is a statement piece for certain.
That was the point, you know. Yeah. What else do we do? I'm also a coach, but I've been in the beauty industry for over 25 years as a hairstylist, lash artist, do facials, all the things, but decided to transition into coaching and consulting salon owners, spa owners, med spa owners, especially if you're in the startup realm. Because beauty school taught us everything but the business. It did not teach us that. It taught you just enough to pass state board. And they said, all right, fend for yourselves. So
I sounds like doctors.
Yeah, like get out there.
You got those letters, medicine, but we're not going to tell you anything about running your office.
No. And so I like to help people work smarter and not harder in their businesses. People don't realize it takes a lot to start up a business, A. B, it takes a lot to start up a salon suite, especially in the independent arena, because you're everything. You're marketing, you're ordering supplies, you're everything. And so a lot of folks don't know where to start. And so that's where I come in. That business is Savvy Salon Systems.
Yeah, no,
you like my business?
I think it's amazing. In fact, I was telling my hairdresser a few days ago, I was like, I'm going to interview this woman next week on my YouTube channel, and she does all this consult. I said, I didn't actually know that was a thing until I was on her podcast last week, and she was like, oh yeah, it's a big deal because she's like you, they really don't teach you anything about the business part of it. And, I guess for years and years, I always thought that hairdressers were employed by someone, but no, they are
Not
actually
all. Yeah.
entrepreneurs just like the rest of us. And so why wouldn't they need a consultant to help them, especially if they have never had to deal with that before?
Yeah, I worked for a chain. I worked for Sport Clips for many, many years. Sport Clips and Great Clips. Sport Clips was the last chain I worked for before I went into working independently about 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, independently. And boy, that was a leap of faith. I was so scared. And again, there's a lot that I didn't know, but I took that leap of faith, and that's okay. Get out there and just do it. Everything doesn't have to be perfect.
Done is better than perfect. I'm learning that. This is one of the big lessons I've had to learn this last year for sure. But so on this channel, we have a wide swath of topics that we talk about in terms of helping people heal. That is my whole goal in life, is to help people heal, and that stems from my own story that my viewers have heard before. But the things that you do, especially with your podcast, I would think fall nicely under this category, because healing can be a lot of different things, right? So you have people on your podcast, and you get to talk to them about things. In essence, we're kind of like Oprah's, but not really, if you know what I mean. We give people a platform to be able to talk through certain things. What have you seen in your podcast that maybe has really surprised you in terms of how people have responded, or what's happened to them since, or have they had breakthroughs? Just kind of talk about your podcast just a little bit. I want to focus in on that for just a bit, because, and at the end, I'm going to have you share where people can find you there, but talk a little bit about your podcast and what you've experienced there.
So with this show, I give people an avenue to talk about their platforms and things of that nature. Doesn't matter where you are in the country, you can come on and talk about your business. Today, we can do our business from our homes. Today, we can do our businesses from our cell phones. You don't necessarily have to be at a physical storefront. Even if you have a service base, product base, you don't necessarily have to be in a physical building. So I love that my guests can come on and be from all over the country and promote themselves. I love seeing people come on and it's their first time and they're nervous and they don't know what to say. And I always tell people, when you're passionate about what you do, all those nerves go out the window. And so, first example, I had a lady that came on in the earlier times, 2.5 years ago, was nervous out of her mind. She had a private tutoring business, was very, very nervous. We had to calm her butt down before she came on. So finally, it was her turn to talk. But of course, when it got to her talking about her business, her why, all that nervousness stopped. She spoke very clearly, and she was happy. At the end, texted me and was like, Robbin, that was so much fun. I would love to do that again. Guess what? That person has a podcast.
See?
So I love seeing that. Gives me great joy to see the growth of people since. I have a couple of others who were nervous as well before coming on, that it was their first podcast as well. And they are now like going to networking events, doing pitch competitions. Very much introverted people are now getting out and talking to people, and it's okay. So I love it when I see growth in business. I love it when I see that they're stepping outside of their comfort zone. And I'll give a little tidbit about what I talked about when Melissa first see me for the first time. And I talked about my journey leading up to starting my show. I'm very much an extrovert, but I normally don't go places that friends are not around, that, the people I already know. And so 2020, getting invited to a networking event, knew no one in the room but the person that invited me. I just knew her briefly. And not knowing that I would be entered into a drawing for a spot on a podcast, to be later someone seeing me that I should host my own show. So stepping out of that comfort zone, I went to an event and I knew no one, but guess what? I talked to everyone. And so now I tell people, even that come across my path or come onto the show, talk about what you do, you never know where your next client, investor, or collaborator will come from if you get out there and you talk about your business, talk about your brand. And that's why the Mamapreneur podcast exists, because I got out there and I talked about what I did, and someone saw something in me, and 56, almost 57 episodes later, here we are.
What a wonderful story. What a great,
yeah.
So my viewers know, I mean, and I think I've talked to you about this too. I am actually a certified ULA life coach. And one of the things that we talk about in ULA is we have blockers and we have accelerators in getting to our ULA life. And one of those accelerators is passion. And you've mentioned passion more than once. And I kind of want to camp out there for a second, because passion is, that's a word that's kind of thrown around a lot, but at the same time, it is a very important word. And because you've said it twice, I want to bring this up because we do talk about it in ULA as well with our coaching clients. Passion is one of those things that it doesn't really matter if you're nervous or not. If you are truly passionate about what you're doing, somehow your mouth just opens and what needs to come out comes out. And you're right. You never know who you're going to be put in front of or who is going to be put in front of you to be able to. And by the way, it should be a win-win, right? That when we talked about doing this, I was like, if I'm going to be on yours, you come be on mine. I want to reciprocate, right?
Absolutely.
So it needs to always be a win-win, but passion can be such a healing thing for people because it's kind of where they really tap into their authentic selves. Have you seen that in a lot of your guests?
Absolutely. And I always express, when God puts a passion in your life, no matter how much you try to run from it, it always keeps appearing, whether he's putting people in your path, or if he wakes you up at 3 o'clock in the morning with an idea. Wakes you up at 3 o'clock in the morning with an idea, and you just like, well, I can't go back to sleep. So if it's in you, it's in you. And then sometimes God puts people or puts you in certain places for that to come out, for that to be known and shown,
right?
That you should be doing X, Y, and Z.
Right. So,
or life.
Yeah. Yes. So one of the blockers, we have 7 accelerators, 7 blockers, along with our 7 key areas of life. But one of the blockers would be the opposite of that, really, which would be self-sabotage. That's one of our blockers. So have you experienced that? Because listen, first of all, we're mostly women that watch this channel. Not all. I do have some men, but I think women can relate to this a lot. Self-sabotage can get you faster than anything. So with 56 or 57 episodes into your podcast,
almost 57,
what has kept you from succumbing to that blocker of self-sabotage?
Believe it or not, I'm nervous every episode. You'll never know it, but I'm telling you now because we're talking about it. Very much a perfectionist. So I want to make sure what I'm putting out there, we're not just having a podcast because it's Thursday night. We're actually being able to pour into people, and not only we just want some listeners. No, I want to make sure what I'm putting out there, people are actually being impacted by. Who I'm having on the show, those folks are being impacted by the people that I have on the show, so on and so forth. So I have my moments where I can be very much a perfectionist, very much nervous, just making sure, like, okay, I hope they like me. I hope they like me. And we're 2.5 years later. I know you still like me.
Yeah, we do. We like you.
You really like me. So I have my moments where I am, or if I feel like I should be a little further along, I have those moments. But when I do, it's really short and sweet. And then we snap out of it and we keep going. Keeping going and staying consistent is why this show is still around as long as it has been. And opportunities have stemmed from the platform. And we still, we got stuff into 2024 now that, again, never in my wildest dreams that I think I'd be hosting a podcast, having speaking engagements, and things I just never could imagine. And so here we are.
It makes life fun, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I love that it connects me to the coolest people.
Listen, I totally
you.
Yeah. See, we never would have become friends had I not gone to that conference, and had you not gone to that conference, we never would have. Well, I say we never would have. I'm assuming we never would have because the DFW Metroplex is pretty large, right?
It is.
But I know that networking has always been a key part of my career. When I was a social work student, I had a site supervisor who one day came to me and said, believe it or not, I've not always been this way. So I had a site supervisor that came into me one day and she said, here, I need you to go to this meeting and I need you to collect 5 business cards. And I looked at her and I was like, what do you want me to do by myself? Well, that belief in me and that one request from her turned me into the networking queen that I am today. And I love it because she pushed me out the door to do that. And Barb West, Cancer Care Services, I cannot thank you enough for what you did for me, because what she did was she built that confidence in me to be able to talk to people even when I knew no one. And since then, much like you, I have been invited into spaces that I never thought I would be invited into. I've been able to speak all over the state. I have spoken across the country for some different things, and it has changed my life. And so I've been able to teach my students that as well. So I'm glad that you're saying it too, because when I say it, I think people get tired of hearing it, but when other people come back and say it too, it's just really important. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter if you even own a business. Whatever discipline you're in, whatever work vocation that you're doing, networking is critically important. And now that we're all back together face to face, I think it's become even more critically important. Would you agree with that? Are you seeing that too?
I agree. We are outside, people. Get outside.
Get out.
Get away from your computer. Get away from. Put the phone down unless you're taking a phone number with a connection.
Right.
Get out there, meet people. I always tell folks, no one's gonna knock on your door and say, "Hey, opportunity knocking." No, you have to physically get out there, meet people. You just never know what connections you may come across, good connections that you may come across just getting out there and meeting people. And for those who may be a little scared to just get out there and talk to people, hi, my name is Robbin. At the Oh Yes I Can conference, what I did like about that, how Tracy had it set up, was the name tag. So you had your name tag with your name on it and a guilty pleasure. And you go around the room and you just connect with people in the room. Well, guess what? Someone in that room you connected with. I know you connected with someone. My guilty pleasure was wine, sweets, and reality TV. Guess what? Someone in the room connected.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's so amazing to me, Robbin, what we all have in common. And when I was teaching, I used to do an icebreaker at the beginning of every semester. And it was a portrait of me is what it was called. And I would bring in my chart paper and my markers, and very old school, but students loved it. And we would draw pictures of ourselves. And then around that picture, I would have them write different things, just little one-word things about themselves. And then I would have them stand up and introduce themselves and talk about their picture. By the end of that class period, we had quite the bond. And that was the whole point, by the way, because I needed them to be with me all semester, right? And I needed them to be with each other as a team. But what we learned about each other was so critically important in terms of team building, but in relationship building too, right? So because of those little things that we had on our name tags, we were able to make some deeper connections, I think, than we would have just saying, hey, my name is Melissa, nice to meet you. We actually went just a little bit deeper. Right. And that was one of the most popular activities that I ever did as a professor, was getting people to know each other. And what we discovered is that we had so much more in common than we had different from each other. Right. And I think we discovered that same thing at that conference. And I think we discovered that same thing no matter where we network, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I just love networking.
Yeah,
again, you just when you find those commonalities, you're like, okay, you'd made a friend. Yeah. And a lot of times with it, you don't necessarily get together and just go right into business. You just can get together and it can just be a friendship. Absolutely. It can just be you supporting them, or vice versa. And then if you just so happen to work together, great.
Absolutely.
If not, you still have the friendship. You got to have that foundation somewhere. A person can always tell if you're just networking just to get something out of somebody.
Right.
It has to be reciprocal, like Melissa, you just mentioned a minute ago. So
yeah, win-win. I can tell you that some of those very first connections I made way back in the day when Barb West sent me out there, that first meeting, I still have them today. I mean, that should tell you something about the power of networking. And that's been way over 25 years ago. I'm just saying. I know I started when I was 2, just so y'all know. I started when I was 2. But I'm just telling you the power of networking and what can happen when you really put yourself out there and trust that things are going to work out for the best, right?
Absolutely.
Especially when you're building a business. So
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So Robbin, tell us where we can find you. And I'm also going to put it in the comment section of every platform this is going on. But just do me a favor and tell people where they can find you, your podcast. By the way, look at this. We are rocking some of her merch today. These Girl Boss t-shirts are phenomenal. Yeah, show us what you got.
Let's show the new one, honey. Let's see if the virtual background will let me be great.
While you do that, I'm going to sit here like this, like we laughed about before. Look. Look at this. This is so cute.
You guys hear me asking Melissa, why are you sitting like that?
Look at this. We were going to do the whole interview like this, and then we decided not to. Look at that.
So on my show, I talk about the 9,222 things that we do. And so I say I like to call myself the Jackie of all trades. You know, the term the Jack of all trades. I just put myself as Jackie. Jackie's not my name, but we're the Jackie of all trades.
Yeah.
And I cracked a joke and said, I'm going to get a shirt made. Tracy commented yesterday. She says, you did it. I said, yep. I told my shirt lady, put it on a shirt. Here we are.
I love it. And that font is amazing.
Thank you. Oh Lord, did we lose me? Okay, there we go.
You're back. You're so Look at you. You're so magical.
So yes, we are actually pre-ordering these, and if it keeps losing me, oh, there we go.
There you go.
Pre-ordering these as we speak. So these are fabulous, honey. So to find little old me, I am at Mamapreneur Podcast on YouTube, LinkedIn, IG, Facebook, TikTok,
all the places,
everywhere. But yes, the show is live on 2nd and 4th Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on the Mamapreneur Facebook and YouTube. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Mamapreneur Podcast YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more content there. Mamapreneur Podcast, LinkedIn. I'm going to be doing a lot of lives. Going to be doing some upcoming lunch and learns on LinkedIn. So please make sure that you all are tuned in. Also, now booking for 2024. So if you're a business owner out there and you want to get your name out there, feel free to shoot me a DM. I would love to have you on the platform. 2024 is already booking up. I mean, people are not wasting time. They want to, get themselves out there.
Listen, there's no time to waste. We need to keep it moving, sister. That's one of my favorites. Just keep it moving.
Yes.
Do you have an email where they can reach you, or would you prefer that they?
Yes.
Okay.
I can. It's Robbin, Robbin, at mamapreneurpodcast.com. And I'll have Melissa post that as well.
Yeah, everything will get posted so that people can find you, because I think you provide an amazing service to these ladies. And by the way, I was on last week. It was so much fun. I'm not a mom, but it doesn't really matter because, Robbin talks to everyone.
I do. I said, I'm the mamapreneur. You just come on the show. But the target audience is female business owners. And I did it that way because we have to have some type of community. We're not even supposed to live this life alone, let alone do business alone. Everybody can learn something from someone because we don't know it all. So
that is right.
That's why you have to have that community. And that's what my platform is all about.
Well, Robbin, it has been an absolute pleasure and joy to talk to you today. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, and I'm definitely going to get all that information posted for my viewers so that they can find you. And I know you and I have stuff to talk about later, so I'll definitely be getting with you on that, but I do appreciate your time, and hopefully we can have you back and we'll chit chat some more about
Absolutely.
all sorts of different things. How about that? Does that sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
All
Thank you
right,
for having me. I
fabulous.
appreciate you.
You are very welcome. So as we end everything that we do here, I will say to you, be grateful, have faith, and go get your ULA life.